Track 26.
It's common knowledge that men and women do things differently, isn't it? The male of the species, we're told, goes quiet and retreats into a cave to brood at the slightest sign of stress, whilst the female reaches out and shares her feelings. After all, women are better communicators, aren't they? That's certainly what writers like John Gray would have us believe. But on what basis do they make this argument? And does it matter? It's easy to assume these books must be based on valid scientific research, but in reality, very few are. Indeed, even a cursory inspection of the literature of linguistics and gender reveals that men and women communicate in remarkably similar ways. Take the notion that women talk more. A book in 2007 reported that women used 20,000 words a day and men just 7,000. But when the claim was challenged, the author, Luann Brizendine, couldn't provide a source and promised to withdraw it from later editions. In fact, research in the journal Science has shown both sexes talk equally as much, and in doing so use on average 16,000 words per day. There's obviously huge variety, from 500 to 45,000 words a day, but significantly, the three chattiest people in the study were all men. Then there's the belief that men interrupt more because they are biologically more aggressive and programmed to use language more competitively. Evidence from Janet Hyde actually suggests that in neutral situations, where people speak on equal terms, women and men interrupt equally. The neutrality of the situation is important. Some men do speak over others more, but this is not to do with gender, but rather the power relationship between the speakers. When talking to a boss, we won't butt in, but they will. In fact, when Chambers reviewed a number of linguistic studies investigating gender difference in this and other areas, such as empathizing, aggression, and wordplay, he found an overlap of 99.75% in the way the sexes communicate. In short, no difference whatsoever. Finally, if these supposed language differences were biological, we would expect them to be universal to all cultures. However, to take just one example, a study in the village of Gapan, Papua New Guinea, found the men pride themselves on their ability to speak indirectly and never say what they mean, while the women frequently give voice to their anger by launching into lengthy swearing sessions, behaviour which is a reversal of the Mars and Venus stereotypes of aggression and indirectness. So, why do these myths of biological difference and communication persist? Well, sweeping generalisations such as women are more in touch with their feelings appeal because they match long-standing stereotypes. We look for and cite evidence to back up a traditional view, but ignore or fail to search for contradictory evidence. Take the psychologist Simon Baron-Cohen, who argues in his book, The Essential Difference, that male brains are analytical and goal-orientated, which makes them wonderful scientists and lawyers, while a female's empathetic brain is best for jobs like teaching and counselling. However, as Deborah Cameron notes, a career in education or as a therapist just requires a mix of verbal, people and analytical skills, and Baron-Cohen's choice is simply based on the fact jobs in such fields have traditionally been occupied by women. And why have they? Because they're less well paid, less varied, and have less power in a society that has been dominated by men for centuries. Furthermore, all of this is often reinforced by our biased use of language, where we'll still often specify a male nurse or a female doctor, ultimately then, when and how people communicate has far more to do with social status and power than it does with genetic makeup and nature. It's vital to challenge these myths because, in many cases, stereotypes around gender and communication serve to hide the structural problems in societies that maintain male power and hold back women.